It is the Nissan Stadium on the riverfront here, um, behind the People's Bridge and the People's Bridge building here in Nashville. Been in the South now for quite some time. And Tennessee, it's interesting because, well, let me first start by saying that when I first got to Texas, I first went to Austin, and one day at the homeless shelter there, the men's shelter, I saw a young black man, and he had a t-shirt on, and it said, "Fuck y'all, I live here," which I thought was great. I didn't think to have my picture taken with him, but anyways, I thought it was a great t-shirt and a great slogan, and it really seemed to say a lot about Texas in a lot of ways. One of the ways it had to reflect Texas, or the way it did reflect Texas, this slogan, is that in the year and a half I spent in Texas, I met no one with a Southern drawl. I did not meet one person with a Southern drawl. Y'all, none of that. Nowhere in Texas. And I was in every major city in Texas. Never once did I hear, the classic Southern drawl that supposedly Texas is famous for. And I think the reason is because Texas and Texans are no longer, born and bred Texans. I think the population in many of the major cities there have changed dramatically in the past how many years. And it can be blamed on gentrification or whatever you want to call it. But I think the old grandma and grandpa have either died out or moved and are no longer living in Texas, taking whatever, Southern drawl they had with them to, Florida or Arizona or somewhere. And the population has since been replaced with this sort of generic, monotone kind of, operator-sounding voice, Which brings me now to Tennessee. I met two people here with a Southern accent only. I've been here a month and a half. I've met two people here with some sort of Southern accent. Both of them were born and bred here. Both of them. And both of them, ironically enough, happen to be homeless, too. So, I talked to them, and, I was telling them about Texas and my experience there. And they said, "Oh, yeah, I was born here, and, my family was here, and, But they were the only two people I have met here with any sort of accent, distinguished accent, or Southern accent that distinguishes them from other people here in Nashville. And the idea that both of them are homeless, I think, is interesting. Because like all of Texas, so much of Tennessee, and certainly Nashville, is undergoing gentrification. I was amazed, coming back here, that all those cranes that I first saw 3 years ago, they're doubled. They haven't disappeared in time on the Skyline. You know, if there's been more of them on the Skyline this year. When I come to Nashville. So Nashville is certainly going under a sort of gentrification too, extreme gentrification here. And their population is being replaced. Okay, people are becoming homeless. People are being pushed out of their homes. Rents are increasing. Jobs are being lost and things like that. It's a lot like Los Angeles. Years ago, or still today, actually, so many of the homeless in Los Angeles are former residents of Los Angeles who just haven't moved, and I feel bad because they're gonna, I don't know what it's gonna take. It took, a year or two with me in Los Angeles after I lost my place to realize I got to get out of here because, I'm just, I'm going crazy and I'm wallowing in a place that if I get my act together here, I can't afford to live here. So a lot of people like that are going to, have to learn it in Los Angeles. And, I think the homeless people here that have been shoved out of homes are going to have to suffer long enough, I guess, till they get the message that, there is no going back. There is no going home here, at least in Middle Tennessee, to live, unless you have a lot of money, And that's what happened to the people of Los Angeles. That's what's happening to the people in Nashville. And I think that's why there's only a small little percentage of the past here, the people from the past here, with an accent. They're sort of holding on to, what used to be. And their accents sort of speak to the fact that, they're one of the few remaining people here from the old Middle Tennessee. And, I wish them well. Like here, there's nobody here with an accent anymore. It's all become the drone of monotone like Texas. And, because the population's being replaced by people from everywhere in the world, it's no longer one state or cities in a state. It's now the world that's coming into Nashville, like they came into Houston and completely washed out the accents there of the people. But what I've learned from my own experience is you don't try to go back. You move out to where you can live and you can find and afford and maintain a home, Oh, well. It's October 13th here along the Cumberland, and the People's Bridge building here, and the People's Bridge in Nashville.